Hi, kindergartners. Mrs. Brousseau here for another Read Aloud. I'm going to share a text set with you and then read one of the books in the text set to you today. And I am really, really excited about the text set that we're going to explore today because it's every book in the text set is written by the same author and illustrator. And her name is Grace Lin. And through her books, she shares about her culture and her experiences growing up in an Asian American family. So, Grace Lin is a Chinese person, and she shares about Chinese culture and holidays and traditions and things that are very important to her family and very, very important parts of Chinese culture. So when I read these books, I learned a lot about Chinese culture and holidays and different foods and ways that Chinese families celebrate together. So it's really interesting for me to learn more, and I hope that you'll enjoy learning more as well, more about Chinese culture. And I don't know if you know this, but our friend Aubrey is Chinese, and so her family has probably participated in these same types of special celebrations, and she could probably share a lot with us about the things that are important to her family and her Chinese culture. So, Aubrey, feel free to share anything you can with us. If you want to post any pictures or videos or anything on Seesaw that will help us learn a bit more, or see some really special things that are important to your family and your culture, we would love if you would share with us. Okay, so I'm going to show you all 5 books, and then I will read one book to you. This book is called Dim Sum for Everyone. And Dim Sum for Everyone is a book about a Chinese family enjoying a Chinese restaurant that has dim sum. So I learned that dim sum just means that there is tea, and traditionally there's tea, and there are small plates of different types of food that each person is able to choose what they would like to eat. So there's a lot of different options on some different carts that people can choose what they want to eat, and everybody kind of gets what they want at a dim sum restaurant. The next book that I'm going to talk to you about is called Fortune Cookie Fortunes. And I know that you are probably all familiar with fortune cookies, and this book is about the different fortunes that this family, oh, by the way, you might notice this is the same family in each of these books that I'm going to show you. Grace Lin has the same family doing different things together. So anyway, this book is about this family opening up their fortune cookies and reading their fortunes. And one of the things I thought was really cool in all of these books by Grace Lin is that at the end of the book, she gives some more information so that you can learn a little bit more. So I was able to read this and learn kind of the history of fortune cookies and when and where they started. And so fortune cookies are something that we tend to think of when we might go to a Chinese restaurant. We get a fortune cookie for dessert, but they didn't technically start in China. They started in the United States and were influenced by something called moon cakes, I think. Let me double check and make sure that I'm getting that right. Let's see here. Fortune cookies have roots in Chinese culture. The fortune cookie can be seen as a modern reinvention of the moon cake. So moon cakes apparently had some special messages inside them, and that's kind of what influenced the start of the fortune cookie. The next book that I'm going to show you is called The Ugly Vegetables. And the Ugly Vegetables has some information about some different vegetables that are very common in Chinese foods. And it even has a recipe at the end for ugly vegetable soup. Okay, and this one is called Kite Flying. And it is all about building and flying a dragon kite. It's the same family that we see in all of these books. Okay, the book that I chose to read to you is called Bringing in the New Year. So I would say that most of us celebrate the bringing in the new year. We might have a New Year's Eve gathering with family and friends, and we have some special traditions and things that we typically do on December 31st to bring in the new year. In Chinese culture, they celebrate Chinese New Year, which is also called the Lunar New Year, and there are some very, very special things that that Chinese families do to bring in the new year. So that is what this book is all about. Grace Lin, Bringing in the New Year. I really like how Grace does this on the end pages. These are some important parts of this book that talk about this book that teaches us about the Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year. And Grace has included some illustrations and labeled those things that we're going to see and read about in the book. Bringing in the new year. Is the new year coming? I hope so. We try to welcome it in. So there's the family that are the characters in all of these books. So Jai Jai sweeps the old year out of the house. Baba hangs the spring happiness poems. Mama makes the get-rich dumplings. Mei Mei gets a fresh haircut. And I put on my new Ki Pao dress for the New Year feast. Now will the new year come? Pop, pop, pop. Do you hear the firecrackers? Are they bringing in the new year? No, but they brought in the lions. They're here to scare away last year's bad luck. You can see they're not real lions, but people in elaborate costumes. They scare Mei Mei too. Don't cry, Mei Mei. Where is the new year? We carry the lanterns to light its way. I hope the new year follows us soon. Look, there's the dragon. Auntie is waking him up by opening his eyes. The new year must be coming. The dragon's awake. Is it the new year at last? This is really cool. Watch. So cool. Give me a minute to tuck that page back in. There we go. Oh, is it the new year at last? Oh, goodness, I forgot to read the words on the inside. Yes, hooray, the new year is here. Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, in the back, there are 2 pages of information about the Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year. So I'm going to read that to you because it has some really cool information about all of those traditions that we just read about in the book. So it says Chinese New Year, which is now more commonly called Lunar New Year, since it is based on the lunar calendar, and many other countries besides China observe it, is one of the most celebrated holidays in the world. It is such an important festival that it traditionally lasted for 15 days, ending with the Lantern Festival. Nowadays, however, most people just celebrate for one day. It is a time for families and friends to get together and is the biggest, most exciting event of the year. There are many customs and traditions associated with the New Year. People prepare for this festival for almost a month ahead of time. Houses are cleaned to sweep away the old year. We saw that in the book. Debts are paid, so the new year begins without obligation. And red decorations featuring spring poems. Remember those spring poems that we saw? They're right here. So red decorations featuring spring poems and good wishes are put up to welcome the new year. Red is considered a lucky color. People also prepare themselves, cutting their hair and buying new clothes. We saw, I think it was Mei getting a haircut, and our character who's the narrator telling us this story, remember she got a new dress. And I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but I think it says Ki Pao. I don't know. Maybe Aubrey and her family can help me if I'm not saying that correctly. Okay, where am I? Buying new clothes. All this is done so the new year can start fresh. To make sure that the new year is full of plenty of food and luck, people feast at New Year banquets. Most foods have symbolic meanings. Oranges, dumplings, and a whole fish mean wealth, and eating them brings prosperity into the new year. To scare away evil, firecrackers are lit and lions are given offerings, usually lucky red envelopes of money. To dance. The bad spirits are also frightened by the bright lanterns, which light the way for the new year. And no new year is complete without the appearance of the lucky dragon. When a new dragon is used for a parade, it can be woken up by an eye-opening ceremony. Remember we saw the auntie who was opening its eyes? This simple ceremony paints in the eyes of the dragon so he can see the symbolic sun, the round shape carried by the parade leader. The dragon chases the sun around and around, ensuring that we will have many nights and days. His chase is accompanied by many merrymakers, whose joyous noise helps scare any remaining evil spirits, guaranteeing a happy, lucky new year. I learned a lot, and I hope that you did too, through this text set written by Grace Lin about Chinese culture and traditions and holidays and foods. So thank you so much for listening as I read that to you, and I hope it's inspired you to learn something new about different cultures around the world and how different people celebrate and spend time together as families. See you next time.